Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today I have to clean my quarantine pair of Madagascar giant hognose. So I figured I would bring you guys along, tell you a little bit about them, and give you an insight onto that species and let you know what my plans are. So hope you enjoy it. Alright, so this is the male first off, and he is the bigger of the pair. Currently, the female I suspect is younger and will need some time to grow. But these guys are wild caught. They aren't really bred in captivity. Not too much is known about them, but they're not the most complicated species. They'll eat anything from frogs, lizards, lizard eggs, to birds and whatnot. Most of what was found in stomach contents in research seems to be lizards and even rodents, but a lot of lizard eggs, these particular collared lizards they have out there. Those eggs are on the menu. Now these guys are technically a rear fang colubrid. Only a handful of envenomations have been documented with minor issues, so it's not really a concern with these guys, but again, not quite as much is known about these guys as other species. This is the larger of the three Madagascan hognose. This is Leoheterodon madagascariensis. The other two would be Leoheterodon gayi and Leoheterodon modestus, often referred to as the speckled hognose and the blonde hognose. Same genus, different species, and they don't get quite as big as these guys, and they tend to have more of a gold color throughout. The Madagascan giants tend to have this checkered midsection, starting with a heavy black, fading down back into that black. And then they have this really pretty flank pattern, nice belly, and as you can hear, they vocalize. They always have stuff to say. They can even hood quite a bit. They'll hood up this back section and kind of go sideways and puff up and flatten to show you how bad they are. But very reluctant to bite unless your name is Owen McIntyre, and then you're in trouble. But these guys will headbutt you before they bite typically, and yeah, they're a lot of fun. This guy is pretty good looking. He's kind of in the middle of the color spectrum, a little dark. Some of them have a lot of high orange like the other long-term captive male I have, but I kind of like the dark ones. I worked with a highly melanistic female back at Santa Barbara Zoo who I adore, so she's what started it all for me, and hopefully I will spend the next few years getting to know these guys, learning them, and maybe even reproduce them so we don't need to take quite as many from the wild, although chances are that legal export from Madagascar might become more challenging in the future. So anyway, this is the male of the two wild caughts that I got recently. Off to the female. So this here is my female Madagascar giant hognose. To me, she is the prettier of all of the ones that I have. Very dark, darker than the other two, the males that I have, but a lot flightier, much smaller still. I would assume she's younger. Obviously being wild caught, there's no way to know her age. So she's doing really well for me. Everybody's been eating. As I said, she's smaller. But what's really neat about these guys is, like I said when I was showing you the male, they eat a pretty varied diet. And so these guys, although they're wild caught, they're happy to eat rat pups or mice, but they won't eat in front of me. They're very shy feeders still. The male that I have, who's been established for a while, will take food off the tongs, but this girl and the male that came in with her will not eat in front of me, but I leave food in and it disappears. The other male and this female are currently quarantining together in a cohab type situation. It's commonly documented that these guys do really well in groups and have even been found in the wild sharing dens, and there's some question as to whether or not females will even share maternal incubation responsibilities of other clutches of eggs, so other females can go take breaks, but there isn't a lot of research on them. I did catch this girl eating a rat pup last week, so she's putting on weight. I'm finding bowel movements regularly, and it's about time for their second round of precautionary deworming coming from the wild. You never know what sort of parasites they're going to have. They already received external parasite treatment and one internal round of treatment from the importer. But this is my lone female currently. She's going to need some time to grow up and gain some confidence and size. But I'm not in any rush. These guys are fascinating to me, and I'm really excited to learn more about them. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed seeing these guys in a little more detail. Very unique snake. Hognose, unlike any of the North American varieties. If anyone's interested, I highly recommend looking into these guys while you can still get them. Alrighty. Alright guys, so that was a quick look at those two fresh import Madagascar Hognose that I got in this year. Hopefully gonna keep you guys updated and posted as they grow and shed out, and keep some footage coming in, but really excited to learn about these guys. I did want to take a moment to mention the topic of wild caught versus captive bred and how it relates to conservation. I'm a big fan of conservation, and in any circumstance possible, I would prefer to support purchasing captive bred animals over imports. That's not always possible, and unfortunately, you know, people are going to bring animals in ethical means and non-ethical means. Your dollar counts, and it counts as a vote. If there were captive born and bred mad hogs, I would prefer to go that way, but they're not so readily available, so I got what I got. But just remember, if you guys don't like you know, seeing animals that are overexploited in the wild, things like that, don't buy them. Tell your friends not to buy them. If you can at all, support captive breeding. Not all wild-caught imports, captive hatch, captive-born animals are bad, though. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if there's an alternative, look into it, think about the choices you're making, and think about how that affects the community long-term. Ideally, I wouldn't be the only one breeding giant mad hogs. There'd be a lot of other people doing it, so then we don't have to take them from the wild. However, that being said, their populations are doing really well. They're one of the most commonly seen snakes out there, so that's why I'm okay with grabbing these guys. If it were something a little more rare and detrimental to collect from the wild, probably wouldn't be, well, let's say it, I wouldn't be able to afford it. But, yeah, I don't know if I would be so okay with that. But that's just me. Everybody makes their decisions, and it is what it is. So, anyways, hope you guys are enjoying seeing something a little different, a little bit more content from me. And I did want to give a shout out to Living Legless Reptiles at my buddy Travis's place. So, hope you're doing well, Travis. And everybody keep an eye on Living Legless. They're going to have some cool bull snake stuff this year. So, anyway, take care. Bye.